In recent memory, have you ever thought to yourself about how terrible games are nowadays? If you said no, you're lying. No, but in all seriousness, I bet it's way more of you than most people would expect. And to be honest, I don't think you're too crazy for thinking such a thing, because I'm in the same exact boat as you. The only difference is, I think I might have figured out why this is the case. And it all starts with... Okay, yeah, nostalgia plays a factor, of course. It's the first thing everyone jumps on and blames when it comes to comparing supposed good games with the bad ones of today's world. This is far from the only factor though, but it needs to be at least touched on. Most people who aren't like 12 years old, when asked what their favorite game of all time is, will respond with something predictable, something we've all heard like a million times, like Modern Warfare 2, Halo Reach, Skate 3, Doritos Crash Course, which has a special place in my heart. Seemingly any game from that early 2000s era to what I would say around, I guess, 2013. The thing about these types of games is that compared to today's gaming landscape, they don't even hold a candle to the amount of content. So what about these games makes them so good? Well, for starters, most of these fan favorites either pushed boundaries on the gaming industry as a whole and were innovators in their genre. Think No Russian from MW2 or just MW2 in general, honestly. A game so highly praised for its gameplay, but was absolutely crucified throughout American media for its portrayal of that optional No Russian campaign mission. And I say optional because news outlets at the time didn't understand jack shit and spoke as if the game required its player to engage in that specific mission. Or games at this time revolutionized social interaction and team building like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 did and still do to this day. Games today have completely obliterated what made gaming so great only a couple years ago. Game chat for game modes like Search and Destroy and Call of Duty caused people to interact and communicate. Also shit talk, but that was what made it fun. I was 11 when MW2 came out, a total squeaker, and I was the one telling 20-year-olds to get a life. Chalk that up to poor parenting or whatever helps you sleep at night. The fact of the matter is that games today, in terms of sociability, are beyond lackluster. It's extremely common to enter a game and not hear a single word uttered from any of the 11 plus other players you are literally playing with. I bet 99% of you guys just sit in an Xbox or PlayStation party, and I'll admit I'm at fault for that too, although I play on PC, so it's more like I mute the whole lobby and watch random bullshit on YouTube for like a couple hours, but it's the same idea nonetheless. Let me ask you this though, what games today involve teamwork? You're probably saying Warzone, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Rocket League, things like that, and although you're entirely correct, they all require some level of teamwork. They all completely fail at doing it properly. Picture this, you're in a game of Warzone and your team loses. Who gets blamed? The bottom fragger. You lose a competitive game of Rocket League. Oh, it must be the person with the least amount of points fault. You lose a game of CSGO. I don't really have to give an example for that one. If you ever want to cause infighting between teams, just provide them with the stats of their current game and make sure everyone on the team can see it. All of those games thrive off of diverting accountability and placing blame on those less skillful. And the worst part, it's all for that 15-second high you get when you win a game and finally have that single ounce of fun that you've been looking for. All for it to go down the drain 2 seconds later because your dumbass thought you could win another match back to back. A vicious cycle that's incredibly hard to break, and which most who have gotten out of that cycle have left gaming entirely with the exact last words that everybody has said at least once. Gaming just isn't fun anymore. Most people who fight against this argument and say today's games are far better than they were like a decade ago will point to these nostalgic gamers and tell them to go back and play those games again and see if they're, just still just as fun as they used to be. And yeah, these games still fucking slap. I spend most of my time on my $4,000 gaming computer playing Left 4 Dead 2 or Team Fortress 2, and although yeah, they may not be absolutely packed with features like today's games have, they're still incredibly fun to indulge in, which just so happens to lead me into my next point. Remember a second ago when I spoke about how games today aren't very rewarding and everyone searches for that 15-second high you get from winning some battle royale game? Okay, good, because we're bouncing off of that. If I were to ask you guys truly, and I mean truly, how much fun you guys genuinely think you have when playing today's games, do you think you might embellish your answer a little bit? I mean, I hope not. Whether you want to accept what I'm about to say or not, that's fine, but gaming companies aren't just competing with each other anymore. They're competing with apps like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and all the other social platforms. But why is that the case? Because they want your time. These companies aren't fucking stupid. They know how people will try to persuade themselves with terrible logic. It's funny how you'll sit there and scream about how much you hate the game you're playing, but you'll continue to sit there for another 8 hours doing just that, playing the game you supposedly hate. Oh, well, I have 500 hours in Rocket League. It wouldn't make sense for me to not get the battle pass. I play so much already. You say as you completely suppress the memories of how pissed off that game has made you. Companies know that the more time you spend playing their game, the more willing you will be to drop extra cash on on it. Oh, but the battle pass gives me credits back, so I'll make my money back anyway, when you know you're just gonna spend those credits on some in-store item. Big companies do not give a fuck about you anymore, and you'll be hard pressed to find one that actually does. It's incredible how the new Modern Warfare 2 has hundreds of thousands of people playing it daily, but nobody seems to say anything positive about it. I can't be the only one who finds that weird. Oh, I know. How about we shove a battle pass in their face every time they log in to play? Oh, wait, we already do that. Oh my, I didn't even know. None of these big gaming companies are going to make any changes about their games if it doesn't directly contribute to easy profit. Every month, there's a new meta weapon in COD that has some crazy high DPS, and everyone and their mother seems to be using it. Crazy how you'll then see a bunch of new store bundles and skins featuring that OP weapon, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence, right? And it doesn't help that daily and weekly challenges insist people on getting back into playing each and every day, just like battle passes put players into a box where in order to get what they paid for, they have to play more of the game. It's so smart, it's evil. I made a video with a similar title such as this. It was a nice compilation of a bunch of moments from 2022 with my friends and I. After I posted that video, I realized that only a couple of the clips that I used were from some competitive game, and those games weren't even being played in a serious light, which, you know, most of you won't be playing like. You'll sit there on your sticks going sweaty, you won't be messing around. Listen, if games are getting you down and you want to genuinely have fun playing video games again, you need to avoid newer games or competitive games. It's no wonder why indie games have been on such a meteoric rise these past few years, or that Left 4 Dead 2, a game released in 2009, still has an incredibly active player base of nearly 40,000 people within a 24-hour period. I'm also not saying that every single company is as heinous as each other here, but what I am doing is outlining what most of the largest companies will do to their consumers, their fans. Once money comes into question and overtakes the overarching goal of making a fun game, the question these companies ask themselves shifts from, are our fans happy, to, are our fans still playing? The unfortunate reality is that the most popular games today prioritize profits, leading to them capitalizing on the cheapest way to make the most cash. And although games today look amazing, sound incredible, and trump older games in terms of features, that's just not what most of us want. We want games that are well thought out, not half-assed or rushed to completion in order to meet some deadline that was intended to overwork the developers anyway. And until companies realize this isn't a sustainable way of running their business, I'll be on Skate 3 where I'm actually having fun in the meantime. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care.